Hi guys, welcome back to another GGF video, and what you just saw is the MSI X99A Xpower Gaming Titanium motherboard. Now I wanted to do that short little video clip just to show you how nice this board here really does look. As you can see, it's very similar to most boards. MSI has done a few boards like this. This is their third. They've got two in the Z170 range, and this is their first X99 in the titanium. All silver, the whole PCB is completely silver, and so on. So this has all the latest steel armor on the DIMM slots, on the PCI Express slots, everything like that. So what we're going to do in this video is we're quickly going to go over the box, what's inside the box, and then we'll have a better look at the board itself. Now, just taking a quick look for the outside of the box. If you are one like us who likes to collect their PC hardware boxes, this one is no doubt going to be a keeper. It is absolutely stunning. I don't think I've seen a better box before that has been sort of developed so nicely. We've got a nice silver theme on the outside, and then we have plenty of information about the board inside, what you get, all the specs, and it's also got the nice door which you can see the inside of the motherboard. So really nice there. Now, taking a look at what's inside the actual box, it comes with these two different compartments. I'll take the cover off straight away so we get no glare. So straight out of the top one, of course, has the board. We'll cover the board in a tick, see what we have on the board, but first of all, we will take a look inside and what you get. We'll just quickly run through. All right, we get quite a few of SLI bridge. That'll be your 4-way. This is probably they look the same, so that'll be for 4-way. And then we have our other ones here for your 2-way. So they're all your standard bridges. No high bandwidth bridges here. Would have been nice if they maybe threw in a high bandwidth bridge. We did check out a board last week, and they threw one in, which was nice. We have our AC wireless antennas. It's nice to get those ones. And then we have all our SATA here. So we got 4 SATA cables there, and I believe we get some more. And they're a mixture of right angles and straight. Now, once again, I've seen this with MSI. This is your performance qualification card. Now, this tells you that they use the 6950X, what video card. They use the 980 Ti. They use the Samsung SSD, core speed, and all some sort of benchmarks there. And that's really nice. And that is all handwritten, so that's nice that someone actually tested the system out, this board out, and you know that it actually worked and it got those scores. Right, now taking a look at the manual, that's it there. Let's just see, it's actually all in English, so that is nice to see. It's good when you get a nice thick manual. It's got plenty of information, and if it's in English, that is good. You know that it's just not going to be, if it's not in English, well, they have about 10 different languages, you'd not know that you're only going to get about 10 pages out of it. Now, what do we have here? This is the I/O shield, really nice I/O shield, and it's got the foam on the back, and that does blend in with the rest of the board, having the silver and black. All right, now these are your cable labels here. If you want to put them on your SSD drives, you can just say like boot disk, this could be movies, MP3, something like that, just to distinguish what drives go where. Now we have a door hanger. I'm sorry, busy gaming, I'm not here. Pretty much standard these days with most high-end boards. What's this thing? Random poster, choose your destiny. Oh yeah, that's nice. So that's actually the full layout of the board like that. So sort of a quick reference, it'll tell you there's actually quite a lot of information on there. So that is handy that they've, actually haven't seen that before in a board. That is nice. And of course we have our quick installation guide. Most people will just need that. Moving over to these cables, these are for the Mystic Lighting RGB strip LEDs. So what these will do is just extend it and just make it a bit cleaner than plugging the LED strip straight into the board. These are your voltage readout points for when you're testing a multimeter on this board. I cover those points later on. We have our actually 2 driver discs. So we got our Intel motherboard, drivers and utilities, LAN, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Thunderbolt drivers and utilities. So it seems to be the same. They must have different things on them. I do advise just go to their website to grab the latest drivers. And this is the warranty card, which is pretty standard with boards. We do have a sweet little case badge from MSI Gaming G Series. Now this is like a metallic, it's not just a plastic or a soft badge, it is a nice well-made badge. And then we have our M connectors, which you pretty much just go onto your power headers for the case, and it just makes removing them easy each time. All right, now moving on to this side, more SATA, more right angle ones there, and some straight through ones. More SATA, actually that's quite a lot. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 SATA, and that's how many SATA ports are on this board, so that makes sense. All right, now we'll jump in and we'll have a look at the board itself. Now, taking a look at the board here, there is a lot going on here, so we'll just take a look at some of the main features quickly. Now, looking at it aesthetics-wise, we do have a really nice silver black theme going on here. Now, this isn't MSI's first titanium themed board. They do have them in the previous different models, but this is the first X99 titanium board from MSI, and I really do like the silver and black. It just meshes really well together. The only thing I'm not really too keen on is I do like the I/O cover over here, but it is plastic. It just would have been nice to match the aluminium on the MOSFET heatsink and on the chipset heatsink. But that's not going to affect any performance. It's just sort of how I feel about having that plastic wise. Moving on to the other, sort of the main features in the layout. We'll start along the top here. Now we have a 12-phase power delivery design, so no doubt that'll be 8 for the CPU, and we'll have 2 for each lot of memory banks. Moving on to the CPU support itself, of course, it's going to support the latest Broadwell E and Xeon Broadwell EP chips, and I really do like how it's got a nice nickel, sort of a black nickel, dark nickel chrome socket. It's not the bright silver one you see on a lot of boards. It really does blend in with the rest of the board nicely. Moving on to memory support, of course, you'll get DDR4 quad channel support up to 3400 megahertz plus OC, and up to 128 gigabytes of memory supported. And it does have the steel armor once again, which is MSI's calling, and I really do like how that does blend in with the rest of the board. Taking a look at this section here, there's a lot going on here. This is the MSI OC section. We have a debug LED here. We have an MSI game button. You can also push this down. This is a dial you can spin around 360. Only thing I would have liked is if they changed this button from red to say maybe black, white or silver. I think having red just stands out way too much from the rest of the board. And then moving down, we have a power button, we have a reset button, multiplier, plus and minus, and we have our PCI slot disabled dip switch, so you can disable different PCIe slots, which is handy. We've got voltage readout points if you're into high-end overclocking or liquid nitrogen. And down here we have a sort of discharge button, which is nice. You're probably familiar that when you turn the system off, you can even turn the power supply off. You'll probably notice that you still have power lights on and whatnot. This button here just simply eliminates any power in any capacitors, just to push a button, which is nice. And moving on down to the side here, we have dual USB 3.0 right angle ports. I really do like how they are right angle. And then we've also got a right angle internal USB 3.1 Type-C Gen 1 port, so that'll be handy to have for future devices. Moving on to our SATA support here, we have 10 Intel SATA 6 ports. That's including SATA Express. I'm not sure if too many people use SATA Express, but you can use 2 out of the SATA Express for normal SATA ports, and that does use the Intel Rapid Storage technology for all your RAID 1, RAID 0, RAID 10 and whatnot. And there also is a turbo U.2 port, and that'll support those Intel NVMe SSDs that need that extra funky cable for the extra high bandwidth. But bear in mind that this U.2 port will be disabled if you are running 4-way SLI or Crossfire, because when you use this slot here, this port here, the U.2 is disabled. Now moving on to some of the Mystic lighting effects, this isn't as crazy as the Godlike board. If you're familiar with the Godlike board from MSI, it's got RGB LEDs all over the board. You can do really funky themes and different effects, but this board just simply has the it's got white lighting on the chipset. It's not RGB, white only, but bear in mind you can change that to different effects like pulsating, breathing and always on and things like that. And there's also lighting over near the audio, and once again that's just white only. You don't get any RGB, and you can also do those same effects with like breathing, static and things like that. Now they also have implemented an RGB strip header down the bottom, so you can add that into the Mystic lighting software and control that as well. Now I'm not too concerned about not having RGB. I think on this board going with the white light was probably the way to go, which I do like. Moving on to some of the other areas, we do have steel armor PCIe slots. As I mentioned with the DIMM slots, I really like how they've gone with the steel armor. It really does blend it all in nicely. And then of course you are getting your 4-way SLI Crossfire support. I do recommend running a 40-lane CPU if you are going to be using more than 2 video cards, because with the 28-lane you're going to be 4-way. This bottom slot will be running at 4x. Now for 4x you won't be able to run quad SLI, but you can run quad Crossfire, but in 4x it's probably not best to do that, so definitely stick to a 40-lane CPU. And as for M.2 support, down the bottom here, it will support 110mm M.2 drives. Now they are the longest you can get, and this is a PCIe 3.0 4x slot, which is nice. Now, another thing I've just noticed since I started this video, I'm really liking how they've done the layout with the text on this board. So with most boards that are black, you get white text, and if it's a white PCB board, you get black text. I really like how MSI have kept with the grey PCB, but they've also kept with the text a few shades darker than the PCB, so you don't have, the text isn't just shouting at you all over the board. They've sort of blended it in, and you can really see like some text here which has DIM 1, this is DIM 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's really hard to see when you stand back, and I really do like that, although it's still there, because sometimes you still need that. You still need to know what slots are where, what different jumpers mean without actually going to the manual, but it's not just sort of screaming right at you, and I really do like how they have sort of blended that all together. All right, so that's pretty much it on the main board. We'll have a look at the I/O ports on the side. Now, taking a look at the rear I/O ports, straight away you can see that every USB port on this board is USB 3.1 except for the flashback port and these two USB 2 gain ports, but all the rest are USB 3.1 latest technology. So there's not even any USB 2, the blue ones, they're all USB 3.1. Now, starting over on the left, we have what MSI call the PS2 game device port, and underneath is the USB game device ports. Not sure if they're really needed for the PS2, but I guess some people may still use them. We have a clear CMOS button, that's always handy to have, and then as I mentioned earlier, we have our USB flashback port. Now, moving over to the right, we have 4 USB 3.1 Type A Gen 1 ports, and we have our Intel i218V gigabit LAN port to the right. Now, that is going to light up a funky red color, which does look pretty sick. Then slightly under that, we have some more USB 3.1 Type A Gen 1 ports, which is nice, and then to the right of those, we have a USB 3.1 Type A. Now, this one's a Gen 2. All the other USB 3.1s are Gen 1. Now, this is the newer Gen 2, and then under that, we have a Type C 3.1 USB at Gen 1. And moving over to the right, of course, we've got a Wi-Fi Bluetooth module, which is also AC wireless supported, which is nice. And then to the right, we have our audio controller, which is the Realtek ALC 1150 codec. Now, that does have gold-plated jacks there, and it supports up to 7.1 of high definition, and it's also got dual headphone amplifiers, so that's a nice features there. So it's quite a nice little sound card on this board as well. And a quick look at the I/O shield to see how it looks once it's on the board. That is it there. So once again, it is nice. They've kept the black and silver theme. Everything is nicely labeled, and it is one of those sort of higher quality I/O shields where it's got the nice foam on the back. It's not one of those real tacky little flimsy silver ones, so it is nice to see they've added one of those.
Alrighty guys, well, that's pretty much it on this video. Just wanted to show you a little bit more about this board in depth, show you some of the main features and whatnot. We do have a really sweet build coming up soon, a new project we will be announcing soon. Very, very high-end gear, so that'll be really, really sweet. But yeah, I want to thank MSI for sending this board out for this build and this video, and thanks for watching, and stay tuned for next time.